How you doing? It's the Butcher here, and today I'm bringing you a video where I want to test how Evernight interacts with cooldown skills that are decreased by rank. So for the rogue, the one that comes to mind is concealment. Something else that comes to mind off the top of my head is blood mist on a necromancer. Is a very high cooldown. It's significantly decreased, especially the initial ranks you put into it. So Evernight can be a very useful tool for that. So the Evernight is a kind of uber unique glyph or whatever this thing's called, stone, I guess, that you get from Malthus. And most people run this with something like Tempest because of its fast attack time. And since it only stays up for 2 seconds, you have to constantly be hitting enemies with this in order to keep that buff up. But more specifically, I want to see how our cooldown timers interact with Evernight. So the first thing I'm going to test is whether it's actually working, and with the extra 4 ranks, we're actually getting the proper cooldown. The second thing I'm going to test is if we go in and we don't have our Evernight buff active, so once this stops, it should go away, and we're at, our cooldown goes up to 18.23, but then Evernight kicks in after we've already hit our cooldown. What kind of effect does that have on our cooldown? Does it decrease it to the new time? Does it keep it at the old time? Is it somewhere in between? And then do the inverse of that, where basically we hit it while our Evernight is active, and then our Evernight then proceeds to stop attacking, and then it jumps back up to the higher time. So in that case, does it go up in time? Does it stay at the original time, or is it somewhere in between? And that'll give us some good knowledge too on when we want to be using our cooldowns as well, if possible, obviously. So anyway, let's just pop this on first, and we're going to have him attack. So I have 1 point in there plus the 4 from Evernight. I am going to be hand testing this, but luckily there is a big enough variance in the time where it's not really an issue. I will be off by a couple, milliseconds or so, but it's fine. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have it on the screen. I'm just not that good at editing, and I don't have an editor, and I don't have all the time in the world, so I'm sorry about that. But you guys can time along for yourselves at home, or just look at the time bar on the bottom. Because there is over a 3-second difference, you'll be able to see what's going on here. But anyway, we're going to go 3, 2, 1. And this is again just to make sure that Evernight is actually working with our cooldown. So we expect to get approximately, or we should get exactly 4.95, but I am hand testing, so I probably won't. Let's move this out of the way so I can actually see. I got 15 seconds on the nose, basically. So yes, it is working. So our next thing we want to test here is we want to take Evernight off. So once that goes down, we want to start when Evernight is not active, and then see if when Evernight kicks in, if that has any effect on the cooldown. So again, I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to come over here and we're going to slap Tempest on. So as you can see, this timer will say 14.95, but we'll see what we'll actually get in terms of time here. I got 18.4, which is slightly higher. Again, this is just a little bit 2 milliseconds off by me. But again, you can see, so even though Evernight kicked in, we still got the time from when we hit the cooldown, which was 18.23. Like I said, my testing was a little bit off. Apologies, but that's the way it works. So now we're going to test the opposite of that. We're going to start it with Evernight on. So we expect a 14.9 second cooldown, and then we're going to take it off and see if that has any effect. So we're going to go again, 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to plop this right off. As you can see, this goes up to 18.2, but we'll see what time we actually get here. I got 15.05, so that is again directly in line with the 14.95, just a little human error there. So what do we learn from this? It's pretty simple. So your cooldown, Evernight, first of all, does work with the cooldown reduction. Your cooldown is going to be whatever it is when you start it, no matter what happens after that with Evernight. So if you start it while Evernight is going off, you are going to be getting that shorter cooldown. So that is important to note with the upcoming gauntlet as you're running through nightmare dungeons and stuff like that. You want to make sure you are trying to hit your cooldowns as much as possible while Evernight is still active. and then you can run to kind of like the next group, and it won't matter that it becomes inactive during that time. You're still getting the shorter cooldown. So that's basically it for the video. It was just something I was curious in, and I figured I'd make a video on it because I wasn't sure how it would interact. I kind of thought it would end up somewhere in the middle, but that's not the case at all. It's just whatever it is when it starts, so it's pretty easy to figure out, and you just want to make sure as you go through, you're trying as best as possible to hit that cooldown as it's active. But I hope you guys did enjoy. It's been the Butcher, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.